Good morning everybody, welcome to Caerhays Castle here on the south coast of Cornwall. I'm Jill and behind the camera is Roger and we are Which Way Now? A little bit of history about this castle. This castle was built in the 1820s by a man called John Bettesworth Trevanion, and he commissioned a man called John Nash, a very famous architect of the day, to design and build him this castle. And to cut a long story short, he basically fell into financial ruin and the castle lay empty for 15 years until the current owners, the Williams family, bought the castle in 1854. It's a beautiful time to come and see it. The garden is what this castle is most famous for, rather than the building itself. And the gardens are full of camellias, azaleas, magnolias and rhododendrons. Actually, the National Magnolia Collection is held here as well. All these plants were brought back from the Far East by plant hunters in the early 1900s, and it's well worth a visit.
Waking up, feeling the taste of our fight last night. Breaking up, making a mess of an all good life. And now that you're gone, I'm thinking about old times. I've waited so long for this to be over. And now that I'm free from all the chains you've kept me in, I'll be okay. Now that I've found the only way to get myself home again, I'll be okay. Moving on, seeing it all in a whole new light. Thinking of reasons to make it all be alright. And now that you're gone, I'm thinking about old times. I've waited so long for this to be over. And now that I'm free from all the chains you've kept me in, I'll be okay. Now that I've found the only way to get myself home again, I'll be okay. I'll let you know I'll be alright. Now that I've found the only way to get myself home again, I'll be okay. I'm biding my time. It's my time to shine through. I've made up my mind. I'm waiting to find you. Now that I'm free from all the chains you've kept me in, I'll be okay. Now that I've found the only way to get myself home again, I'll be okay. I'll let you know I'll be alright.
These gardens were developed when two men in the early 1900s were sent out to China and Japan, to the Himalayas, to the Far East, to bring back samples and seeds of plants. And they brought back camellias, azaleas, rhododendrons and magnolias. And that's why, because JC, who lived here at the time, he clubbed together with other local landowners. That's why most of the gardens in Cornwall are spring gardens, because an awful lot of the plants came from the same people at the same time. So this is the part of the garden where in the early 1900s, JC, who was living in the castle at the time, had become very interested in horticulture, and he decided to make some money because the fast train, I use the term loosely, fast train had come to Penzance. It stopped at Exeter previously. It had come to Penzance, and JC knew that actually if he could get some flowers to bloom, he could cut them down, put them on the flower markets and sell them in Covent Garden. So he started crossing daffodils, he started hybridising them, so they bloomed earlier and earlier, and then he cut them down, he put them on the train, sold them in the Covent Garden flower markets, and made quite a pretty penny.
No need to look back, this too shall pass. I want you to stay around. I've tried so hard to see what holds you back. You don't have to be alone. And if you don't know by now, it's all in your head. These walls will break you down if you can't let go. When it all comes tumbling down, I'll try to pick you up. I know time will tell you why. The sun will shine again tomorrow for you. For you. Tell me where you go those sleepless nights. Show me what you're running from. Take another chance, I'll prove you wrong. I will never let you stop. If you don't know by now, it's all in your head. These walls will break you down if you can't let go. When it all comes.
The reason I know so much about Caerhays is because actually this is where I work, and there's quite an interesting story about this arch behind me, which is that when Michael Williams bought the castle, he wanted to have a view of the sea, and you can't really tell unless you go inside the house, but one of the things he had to do was cut a chunk out of the hill and reroute the road, move 2 cottages and a mill, all that kind of thing. The road originally used to go underneath this archway, but since it's been moved, it stands as a little bit of a folly. This beach is also owned by the Williams family. In the summer it's absolutely packed, but at this time of year, which is April, you can see it's fairly deserted, but it's absolutely gorgeous. You can also walk from here. The coast path goes along the edge of this beach, up the hill over there, comes from Port Holland, goes to the Dodman and Gorenhaven that way,